Hello students. In the previous classes we have discussed about the different separating methods in which we had discussed about the filtration, sedimentation, what are sediments, as well as we had discussed about decantation, okay, and how can we separate a mixture of a sand and water by the process of sedimentation and decantation. We had also discussed about the filtrate and that of the precipitate. Okay. So today we will start with the next separation technique, and that is, so evaporation is what? We are knowing about the evaporation and condensation. So evaporation is what? It is a process in which a liquid it get converted into gases. Okay, that process is known as evaporation. So evaporation is also a type of a vaporization of a liquid that occur from the surface of a liquid into gaseous phase that is not saturated with the evaporating substances. Okay, so basically when we talk about the evaporation, it is the conversion of the liquid to that of the gases. So we had learned about the evaporation in the process of water cycle. So you know that what is water cycle? So in water cycle, water of a sea or a lake or an ocean, that water bodies, when it is exposed to that of the sunlight, so due to the presence of the sunlight, the upper surface of the water or upper layer of the water, it get heated up, and due to which that water it get converted into vapor. Okay, and that vaporization of the liquid from the surface of vaporization of the liquid from the surface of a liquid into gaseous phase defines the evaporation. Okay, here is another type of a vaporization, and that is boiling. So boiling, it is not in your class that what is the evaporation, what is the boiling. So better to understand that what is evaporation. Boiling is also a kind of a change of a gas, change of a liquid to that of the gases, but that is a kind of a bulk phenomenon. Evaporation is a surface phenomenon. So you understand the evaporation in a simple language, that when a liquid is heated, then it get converted into vapor, and that process basically defines the evaporation. So this evaporation is used for many purposes. Like evaporation of the water, it help in separation of the salt from it. How? You know, in like that of the marine water. When we talk about the marine water, marine means that water bodies which consisting of a salt in it. Okay, like that of a ocean or sea. These water bodies, they consisting of a salt in it. So when they get a proper amount of a sunlight, then the water get evaporated and salt is left behind. So we can say that by the process of evaporation, we can extract salt from that of the water. See here, the salt it is completely soluble in water, and it does not changes the color of the water. When you dissolve a pinch of a salt in the water, it will not going to change the color, okay, and it will easily get dissolved into the water. So how we will separate them? Okay, so we can separate them by heating. On heating, what happened? The water it get evaporated, okay, it get converted into vapor, but the salt it does not shows the evaporation process, so it will remain in the beaker. Okay, so by this process you can separate the salt. Okay, now the salt industries, you see, they get salt by that of the marine water, by that of the sea water. Okay, the seawater, it contain of a salt, so this salt industries, they evaporate them, and after purification the salt will be ready for the consumption and supply to the houses. Okay, this process is a evaporation. Okay, you can see here this, the seawater, it is kept in a pit, or it is kept in a pan where it is where the seawater is collected and it is exposed to that of the sunlight. Okay, after that what happened, by getting a proper amount of a sunlight, the water heated up and they get converted into vapor, leaving the salt in the pans. Okay, by this we are able to obtain salt. Now we will come to the next one, and that is condensation. Condensation is what? It is the process of the change of the gases into the liquid. Okay, evaporation was what? It was just opposite to that of a condensation. That is, evaporation is a process in which the liquid get converted into gas, but while in that of the condensation, in a condensation, the physical state of the matter which will be in gaseous phase will get changes into that of the liquid phase. So it is also a reverse of the evaporation. Okay, liquid to gas, that is evaporation, and gas to liquid, again, that is a condensation. Okay, so it can also be defined as a change in the state of a water vapor to the liquid water when in contact with the liquid or the solid surface, or a cloud condensation nuclei within the atmosphere. So what happened, basically condensation, how this condensation process occurs. So this condensation process, after evaporation, what happened, the water which get converted into water vapor, as it rises up or as it comes in a contact with the cold atmosphere, that vapor, it get converted into the water droplets again. Or you can see this condensation process, you can understand the evaporation and condensation. When you keep water in a beaker, or when you kept a hot water in that of any of the container and you cover that container with a lid, after some time you will see the water droplets. When you open the lid and when you see the inner surface of the lid, that inner surface of the lid consisting of a water droplets in it. Why is it so? Because the water vapor, as it start moving to the upside. Okay, so here the atmosphere is cold, so these hot water vapor, when it comes to that of the cold air, it again get converted into the water droplet. You can see here in this picture, water droplets are here. So this is the process of a condensation. Magnetic separation. This is also a kind of a separating technique. You see that in a garbage, you see a lot of substances are there which get attracted towards the magnet, or we can say these substances as a magnetic substances. These are the magnetic substances, like iron, like that of the copper. These all get attracted by the magnet. Okay, so if suppose you are keeping the that of the iron nail in a sand or with the other materials, and when you take the piece of a magnet to that portion which consisting of the iron pins in it, then what will happen, all the pins, they get clinged or they get attached to that of the magnet. So this process of separating the magnetic substances or the substances which get attracted towards the magnet, that process of separation of a magnetic substances is known as a magnetic separation. Okay. So right now we had discussed about the evaporation and that of the condensation. Evaporation is a kind of a process in which the liquid it get converted into gases, and in the process of a condensation the gases they again get converted into liquid. Okay, there is one separating technique through which we can separate the impurities from it. That process is a sublimation. Although this topic is not elaborated in that of the NCERT, that's why I am giving a very small knowledge or very small elementary knowledge about this term, that is sublimation. So basically when we defines the sublimation is what? A process in which the solid it directly get converted into gases, okay, without undergoing the liquid phase. That process is known as a sublimation. Okay, so evaporation is what? In which the liquid get converted into gases, or condensation in which the gases get converted into liquid. But here the solid directly changes into gases, and that process is known as a sublimation. Okay, like what? Like that of the camphor, kapoor. Okay, so when you burn a camphor, then what happen? As you provide heat to the camphor, it will get evaporated. So camphor is in a solid state, but when you provide heat, that will get converted into the gases. So it from solid it did get directly changes into the gases, and that process is known as sublimation. Sublimation is a very good separating technique to separate the impurities which is present in that of the which is present in any of the material. Okay, now if suppose a mixture of a, you can see here a mixture of a, one second, a mixture of a camphor and a sand is present in that of the china dish. Okay, so in this china dish sand as well as camphor is there. So as you provide heat to this china dish, we had kept a funnel also. This funnel is an inverted funnel. Okay, inverted funnel, as well as at the neck of the funnel we plug it with the help of a cotton wool. Why is it so? Because if we will not do that, then the camphor will get evaporated as we provide the heat. So right now we had discussed that how can you separate that of the camphor from the sand. So sand as well as camphor both are in solid state. So you can separate it by heating, because we know that the camphor after heating it get converted into gases, although sand will remains the same. So when you heat it, then what happens? The solid camphor they get converted into gas, and since cotton wool is there, so it will be not easy for the camphor to go outside. So it will remain stick to that of the neck of the funnel. Okay, so after that we will remove the funnel, we will separate, or the camphor is present in the funnel while the sand will be present in the china dish only. So the process, by the process of sublimation, we are able to separate a mixture of a camphor and the sand. Okay, so this is another technique of separating a components from each other. Now the next one is the solution or the saturated solution. Okay, so when we talk about the solution, what is solution? When we talk about solutions, the solution means what? A solute is there plus a solvent is there. Now what is solvent and solute? Solute is that solid portion or that amount of a substances which is taken in a very less quantity, and the solvent is that of the liquid portion in which the solute is added. Like if you see the salt solution, what is this salt solution? It means salt is added in the water. Salt, the amount of salt is less as compared to that of the water. So salt is what? Is a solid substance which is in a less quantity. So that is a solute. And the solvent is the water in which the salt will be added. And the quantity of the solvent as compared to solute is more. Okay, so by mixing the solute to that of the solvent, the resultant came or the resultant came or the solution which is formed, that defines the solution. Okay, now see here. Now see here, when some salt is added in the water, now we are taking this salt solution only. So if suppose we are taking a small pinch of a salt, and when we added that some salt to the water and stirred it, okay, then what will happen? The salt will disappear. The salt will disappear. This is because the salt has dissolved in the water. Okay, and dissolving is a change where the substance it get mixes with the liquid they have been added to. So if we are talking about this dissolving, it means the substance get properly or it get uniformly distributed in that of the liquid substances. Now again, if you add a pinch of salt, then you will see again that pinch of salt will get dissolved in the solution. And if we keep adding the spoonful of salt to that of the water and stir the solution each time, then what will you see? You will see that every time it will get dissolved in that of the water. But after a certain period of a time or after some time, you will see that even though adding a good amount of salt in the water, the salt does not get dissolved in it but remain at the bottom or to that of the glass or that of the container. Okay, so that kind of a solution in which you are adding the solute, but that solute is not able to dissolve in the solvent, that solution is basically known as a saturated solution. We will understand with this. If suppose you take a beaker and you put 100 ml of water in it, add 1 teaspoonful of salt to water, stir it with the glass rod until the salt dissolves. Again add, and we go on adding more and more salt in with a constant stirring to dissolve it. After adding a number of a spoon of salt, we will find that some salt is left undissolved at the bottom of the beaker. Okay, so this means that no more salt can be dissolved in the quantity of water which we took in the beaker, and that solution is now said to be saturated. It means that after some time you are adding continuously the salt in it, but after some time what will happen, that the salt or no more salt can be dissolved in that particular solvent, and at that time or the solution in which no more solute can be added further, that solution is known as a saturated solution. So we can define the saturated solution like that saturated solution solution. Okay, saturated solution is what? A solution that can dissolve no more of solute is saturated solution. So we can say when no more of a solute can be dissolved in that solution is known as a saturated solution. Now we will talk about the solubility. So we had discussed about the saturated solution, we had discussed about the solute, as well as we had discussed about the solvent. Okay, now see here, solubility. So what is solubility? Solubility is the maximum amount of a substance which can be dissolved in 100 gram of a water at a particular temperature. That is known as the solubility of that substance in water. Okay, so number of amount or a maximum amount of solute which can be added in 100 gram of water at a particular temperature, that defines the solubility of that substances. Okay, so this is the definition of the solubility. Now one more thing is there, that the solubility, it depends upon the temperature. How? When we increase the temperature, the solubility of the substance in water also increases. Okay, so you see here, or when we decrease the temperature, the solubility of the substance also decreases. So we can say that the same quantity of the water can dissolve a different amount of a different substances, and it totally depends upon the temperature. Now see here, if suppose we had added the salt in the water, okay, and after some time that solution that will not able to, or the solvent will not able to further dissolve that of the salt in it. So what will happen, the salt start getting deposited in the at the bottom of that of the beaker or the glass in which we had taken the solvent. So how can we increase this? Now what you will do, when you heat that particular water in which you already had added a lot of salt, or when we heat that of the saturated solution of the salt, then what will happen after that, when you add the salt in it, continuously you are adding the salt in the same amount of water, even then also that water get dissolved into the that salt get easily dissolved into the water. Okay, you can understand in a very good thing, like that of the sugar. When we prepare sweets like that of the like that of the jalebi or that of the gulab jamun, you see that syrup, that sugar syrup that we use, you see at first while making that we add a lot amount of a sugar in it. So how in that small quantity of water able to dissolve that big amount of a solute in it? So you see we add that particular amount of a sugar while heating the water and then adding that of the sugar in it. So by giving a particular temperature will make the solvent to dissolve as much as solute in it. So you see here that by this process we are increasing the solubility of a substance. It means now that particular substance is able to dissolve a more amount of a solute in it. Okay, so by giving the temperature we are able to increase the solubility of the substance, and while decreasing the temperature we are that we can say that the solubility of the substances also decreases. Now see here, if a saturated substance at a particular temperature is heated to a higher temperature, then the solubility of the substance increases and more of a substance or more of a solute can be dissolved in it. When you increase the temperature, then what will happen? It will increase the tendency of the solvent to dissolve a more number of a solute in it. Okay, but when you decrease the temperature, then the solubility of the substances also decreases, and that particular solute will separate out in the form of a solid crystal. Okay, it means we can say a hot water is able to dissolve a more number of a solute, but a cold water will dissolve a less substances in it. Okay, so I think you are able to understand the solubility. Now there are some activities in that of the NCERT. Let us discuss these activities. So activity 7, before that we already had discussed few activities, so we will continue with the rest of the activities. So see here, the activity 7, it asks us to mix salt with sand and check that if we can separate them. So here it is saying that if suppose we mix sand with that of the salt, so is it possible to separate the sand with that of the salt? Yes. So we cannot sieve it. Okay, we cannot separate them by the process of a sieving, because you know that the size of the particle of the sand to that of the salt is almost or is nearly same, as well as the weight is also same. So what are the different processes by which you can separate the salt from the sand? So we can do one thing. We will take a beaker and add a small amount of a water in it, or add a particular amount of a water in it, and we dissolve this sand as well as the mixture of a sand and salt in the water. Then what will happen? In the mixture, the sand which is present in the mixture, it gets dissolved into the water, while the sand, you know that it does not get dissolved in the water, so it will get settled down in the in that of the beaker. Okay, after that, after this salt as it gets dissolved in it, you know that we can remove sand by the process of a sedimentation and that of the decantation. Okay, because the sand, it will get settled down. So what you can do, you can separate that of the upper level of the water from that of the sand. Okay, now that sand, it gets separated, but the salt is still present or still dissolved in the water. So how can you separate the salt from the water? So by the process of evaporation, by evaporating the solution, the water get evaporated and the sand, it remain in that of the beaker. Okay, so by this process we can separate the salt from that of the sand. Now see the next one here. So how much quantity of the salt we can add to a water? So we know that is adding a salt to the water, there is a limit, and beyond that limit, if you add the salt in the water, even then also the salt does not get dissolved in the particular solvent or in water, and it lies at the bottom. Okay, it starts settling at the bottom. Okay, so how much you can add? So here it is written that it's 35 gram of a salt in 100 ml of a water. It is possible to dissolve it in it. Okay, after that, if suppose we want to add, means that is the saturation level, or up to here the water gets saturated. Beyond that, if you add amount of a salt in that of the water, it will not going to dissolve in it. So that particular amount of the solute and the solvent help in making the solution to its saturation level, or help in making the solution as saturated solution. Now see the next activity, that heat a saturated solution and check if more salt can be dissolved or not. So right now we had discussed that if suppose you are having a saturated solution of a salt and you want to add more salt in it, then what can you do? You can heat that of the solution, that of the salt solution, and then add a required amount of a salt in it. Then you will see, since the increase in the temperature, it increases the solubility, so we can dissolve more and more salt in it. Okay, so by increasing the temperature, the solubility of the substance also increases, by which it can add a more solute in that saturated solution. The next one is, prepare two separate saturated solution, one with the salt and other with the sugar. It also asks to compare the result. So you see, the salt is more soluble in water than that of the sugar. So we can dissolve a 7 spoon of a salt, and each spoon is weighing 5 gram in 100 ml of water. So 7 into 5, that will be 35. So we can add a 35 gram of a salt in the 100 ml of a water. While after adding a 4 spoon of a sugar, that is 20 gram. Okay, 5 into 4, that will be equals to 20 gram of 100 ml of water. It will reaches to a saturated solution. So here it is asked that we have to separate, or we have to see that which one will be more get saturated, or will be more get saturated, or will be get its saturation level early as compared to the other one. So if we take a 35 gram of a salt and add it into 100 ml of water, then only that solution of that salt solution reaches to its saturation level. While if suppose you add only a 4 teaspoon full or a 20 gram of a sugar only to that of the 100 ml of a water, even then also that sugar solution will reach us to a saturation level. So by this we can say that salt is more soluble in water than that of a sugar.